And this is what our circuit looks like. Welcome along then to the grid. The drivers will all be in these karts here, soddy karts, with Charlie Whiting, the FIA race director, wanting to come under my umbrella. We've got the best leisure karts in the business here.
Are they? I'll take your word for it.
Do you want to have a go?
No, thanks. No, I've leg.
Well, you stay there then. If you want to take the brolly, you can, but I'm going to need it myself because I think we need to give people a little look at the kart. 390cc, as I say, the best leisure karts in the business, and a bit of a damp seat because it is starting to rain, I'm afraid. But this is what our drivers will be driving in, and they'll go this way. So follow me, James, if you want to. From the start, down towards turn one. Tricky little turn one, this. Very, very right angular. But if they can get their way through this and make it something of a chicane, they can get on the power, and then we can go all the way down towards turn two. Now, this could be the first heavy braking zone that catches everybody out, but there is room to pass and there's room to overtake, and I think we're going to get some passing as we then head in towards turn two. Dab on the power at turn two, and we're off to turn three, and it gets really, really tricky from here because, James, it's hairpin time. So they need to find a way not only to get into the hairpin safely, but get out of it as fast as they possibly can. Next hairpin comes up very, very quickly after that, and then it's another little run down towards the next right-hand turn. But if you want, you can make this into a chicane. Here we have our kart for one of our professional drivers making its way to the grid. And we're on now towards another very long straight as the drivers in the background, to the cheers of the fans in the grandstand, are all making their way towards the grid. From Force India, Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez, Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen have joined us from Red Bull Racing, and we found David Coulthard a race seat as well, and the former McLaren and Williams driver and Red Bull driver, of course, will be joining us to take part. Right, by the time I've said all that, we're down to the next big braking zone, and it's another hairpin, long hairpin, this chance to get round and make up some more places if needs be. We then go through another little chicane, and just one more very tight, twisty corner to go, and we've completed a lap. It's a pursuit style here. The drivers will be completing 5 laps, the footballers 4.5 laps, because they get a half-lap head start. We'll explain more about that in a moment. But Rosanna Tennant, who have you found to have a chat with?
Esteban Ocon, who will be taking on each other this evening. Louis, welcome to the grid. You're taking on Esteban Ocon. Are you scared?
I am definitely. When I look at the track, it's like very, very small. I've never been to a very tiny track like this. You know, it's one of the best. You know, so I'm going to do what I can.
You've performed in front of some huge crowds in your career, though. But how does this compare?
It is like some pressure because it is not my field at all, and competing against the best is a privilege. And at the same time, it just to have fun and really to combine the two worlds that F1 and football can create, and this is great.
He's described you as the best, Esteban. Are you going to challenge Louis this evening?
Yeah, it's an honor. You know, I was watching him when he was playing for France back then. So yeah, to meet him now, it's something really special. And but yeah, I want to show him and give him a bit of a hard time. It's going to be good fun.
Well, we look forward to seeing you both out on track shortly. Good luck.
Absolute chaos down here now because all our drivers are professional track stars and also our football stars have arrived, and that's a gorgeous view looking down onto the Monza start-finish straight and our kart circuit that we have arranged for this evening's festivities, and raising money for charity as well. Let us not forget that. The charity Fondazione Ania will be the beneficiary to the tune of 25,000 euros. The Italian road safety charity will be benefiting from all our exploits here on the grid tonight. Right, Rosanna, you found a man that was a legend of the past and a man that's surely a world champion of the future.
Absolutely, I have found two superb gentlemen on the grid this evening, Sir Jackie Stewart and Daniel Ricciardo. Sir Jackie, you're coaching the footballers. What have you been telling them to beat the likes of Danny?
I am.
Team coach.
I'm calling myself Alex Ferguson. No, I told them to be careful. I told them not to drive too hard. But, you know, they're all competitive. I mean, they're all competitive. It'll be fun for these guys to catch them up.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun. Or is it actually going to be a bit of hard work out there? It's a bit wet, Danny.
I didn't really hear a word you said, but
The conditions, it's going to rain.
Yeah, it's going to make it more tricky for those guys, but I like it. I like the challenge we've got ahead of us on this glorious Thursday afternoon.
You wouldn't want to be anywhere else, would you?
Absolutely not.
Thank you very much, Rosanna. Good evening in the grandstands. Thank you very much for coming down and watching our Champions of the Grid Part 2 for this evening. So what we have is 5 racing drivers, professional racing drivers, who are all going to be taking part in the Heineken Italian Grand Prix in one way or another this weekend. One of them will be in a commentary box, 4 of them will be in a Formula 1 driving cockpit. Up against 5 football stars, it is the professionals against the amateurs. And as I said, 5 laps for every race. Each team gets 1 point if they are the winners. And if you get caught, well, you get a bit of embarrassment and shame as well. Let's head back to Rosanna.
Max Verstappen, last few bits of preparation going on. Your helmet, it's vital. Are you ready to take it to these footballers?
Yeah, it was good that it rained a little bit. It's always better for us, I think.
What's your plan? Because obviously you've got to beat them and then you've got to go on to another rounds. You're going to win this?
I don't know, to be honest. I haven't seen the track properly, so we'll see.
You need to get out and do a track walk.
Maybe.
And you are taking on Dida today. Is that a good thing, bad thing?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah, he's very tall.
Okay, well, good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
And here we are then, down on the start line, waiting for our first drivers to come and join us. The footballers will start half a lap ahead of the professional racing drivers. They're both facing in opposite directions at the start. And Charlie Whiting, the official Formula 1 race director, will be presiding over each race here this evening. Just time for one final photograph as Max Verstappen gets himself into the team picture. Daniel Ricciardo thinks about what may or may not come in the next hour or so. Jackie Stewart's been with our footballers throughout the afternoon, dishing out advice and the odd anecdote. And what a pretty sight they all look. So let's see if we can't get our first drivers into their karts for this evening. And we've decided to pit the fastest man, ladies and gentlemen, from Australia, Daniel Ricciardo. Up against the legendary 45-year-old Italian goalkeeper from Fiorentina and Inter Milan, Francisco Toldo. Now, it has to be said that one of these guys has a slight advantage because he's just a little bit smaller. And if you've ever wanted to see how a giant gets into a racing kart, this is how it's done. Helmet on and straps in. The man who helped Italy reach the final of Euro 2000, kept 3 clean sheets in that tournament, made a name for himself as a penalty kick stopper, up against a man who has never won from inside the top 4 on the grid, but has won 5 times in Formula 1, the honey badger himself, Daniel Ricciardo. Now, so Charlie Whiting is our race director. Do we give them a formation lap? Is it worth a formation lap here?
Oh, no.
No formation lap?
I don't think so.
You want to see them go for it? Go for it straight away, no formation laps? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Charlie, when you're ready, you can get us underway with a traditional flag start. Five laps coming up of our track, and it's Pursuit Racing. Here they go. It's a much better start for Daniel Ricciardo, it has to be said, but through the first chicane goes Francisco Toldo, and we wait to see how he copes with a bit of sliding and a bit of drifting on what is a very greasy circuit, as you can see, spinning around as Ricciardo comes flying through and over the start-finish line. It's 1 point for the winning team, remember, but if you're the professional driver and you start behind, you've got to overtake and pass to get that 1 point. So barriers being knocked over at all times as, oh, Ricciardo, beautiful skill around the left-hander to complete the lap. Toldo taking it slow and steady, but will slow and steady win this race? There's a yellow flag been waved by the marshal. And Ricciardo definitely catching up, and with a great chance now as Francisco Toldo decides to make a new corner out of our track. 2 laps to go, and Ricciardo's in hot pursuit. Toldo holding his own, but the advantage now down to a matter of 15 meters or so at times. Big cheers from our fans in the grandstand as Daniel Ricciardo now can see our Italian goalkeeper in his sights. And he's decided he doesn't like our track as Ricciardo takes a shortcut. And now on to the final lap. We really are in hot pursuit. Toldo leads, but for how much longer? Ricciardo now just a few kart lengths away. And has he got a chance at the end of this straight? He's gaining, Oh, and they touch, and Ricciardo manages to squeeze his way past. Daniel Ricciardo has made up half a lap here as they reach the finish line. Ricciardo can't hide his delight. On to the final lap we go, and the Honey Badger looks to me like he's playing a few games. He's in the lead and he's heading for the first point of the evening. The checkered flag is in Charlie Whiting's hands. We get towards the end of the lap. Ricciardo, is he going to let our goalkeeper through? It's his neck and neck, and on the line, Ricciardo just gets it. It is victory for our track stars and a point to our driving team. But Ricciardo displaying some brilliant skills. And Francisco Toldo, the man who spent a long time at set pieces organising a defensive wall, spent a long time on that track organising our track wall. One 1-0 to the F1 stars. And great car control from our Australian Grand Prix winner. Our Grand Prix winner from Australia, he did a bit of rearranging himself. And here's the move that brought him that point. Well, it has to be said, the door was wide open and Ricciardo stepped through. Magnificent stuff. Ricciardo winning the first race, and let's hear from both drivers.
Is it as fun out there as it looked?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's emotional times. It's really emotional. But it was good. Hey, for the extra weight he's carrying, bravo.
Seriously good. ¿Cómo era la experiencia?
È dura, It's hard, It's very strong. It's the best.
You kept on taking out parts of the circuit. Was that part of your strategy?
Oh, yeah.
Tagliato un po', no?
Un po'. Perché ce n'era uno lì che l'hanno messo troppo lungo.
Assolutamente, grazie mille, grazie.
Grazie.
Plenty of smiles there, but Jackie Stewart, driver coach for our football stars. How do you feel your man went in the first race?
Well, he was doing well. Keep in mind there's a wee bit of rain out there and they've never driven a kart before, so I think he did very well indeed. Now DC from Scotland here is going to be doing a job. This fella here is pretty talented, so I don't know. The fat lady hasn't sung yet.
Fat lady hasn't even warmed up her vocal cords. Charlie Whiting, let's do our flag duty for our second race. It's David Coulthard against Christian Carambeau, ladies and gentlemen. And away we go. Coulthard gets a decent start. Christian Carambeau a little more laboured, it has to be said. The French midfielder, 53 caps in his career, and a club career that spans spells with Sampdoria and Nantes and Real Madrid and Middlesbrough and Olympiacos, where he was very much in control, but I'm not sure our kart track is really suiting him at the moment. That half a lap advantage could come in very handy, even against David Coulthard, who to me looks like a man out for some leisurely Sunday drive. Carambeau completes his first lap. There's 4 laps to go in this race. And David Coulthard has narrowed the gap down, I would say now, to about a third of a lap. But Christian Carambeau, very slow, coming out of turn 4. And struggling to come to terms, I think, with the pace that he needs. Coulthard is catching. The 2-time Champions League winner, the World Cup winner, is now looking behind him. Coulthard with a massive smile on his face. Is he going to go down the inside? No. He's looking for a way forward here. He shoves his man out of the way and then says, please, go back again. I'll give you that place back. Christian Carambeau's found some pace here, and it's all come from the man behind. And he goes wide. Surely Coulthard has to step in. But this is the most gentlemanly race he's ever performed. This time, though, he has to step through. Christian Carambeau's gone straight on. 2 laps remaining as the lead once again is retaken by Christian Carambeau, with DC having a problem with his kart. Now this is going to be tricky. Needs a marshal to find out where the track has gone. We've got chicanes, we've got hairpins, and it seems now roundabouts as well. Carambeau once again crashes into the hoardings, goes wide, takes DC with him. Final lap, and David Coulthard, like a cat dangling a mouse on the end of its paws, is still stalking his prey. But if Christian Carambeau is a mouse, I think he wants to get caught. I'm not sure what they'll say in the steward's room about some of this. But we're now facing the wrong way. DC slips through and is definitely making more of a race of it than you would expect. Once more into our barriers for Christian Carambeau, who actually wins the race. It is a point for the football stars. And I've never ever seen Sir Jackie Stewart, David Coulthard, give a race away in the way that he just has.
Very aggressive indeed. I'm really up against it. I don't think my team approve.
Your team should approve. He's just given you a point.
I know my team has, of course. My team's done very well, but that David Coulthard, I think, tried to push my guy off.
At the end of the day, when David Coulthard has given away the point, all the pushing and shoving doesn't matter. He could have taken that race from about the first lap.
Well, I can't agree with that. As being coach of my team, I'm sorry, I can't agree.
How much have they struggled to come to terms with these karts today? You've been taking them through their paces. Have they ever, our football players, done karting before?
They've never sat in a kart before, and all I could do for them was tell them to take their time. I don't think they listened, because they were driving bloody fast.
And finally, our drivers can get out of their karts. David Coulthard, a round of applause, please, for the legend that is DC. And let's see if we can't get a few words from him and try and explain that gentlemanly conduct.
DC, what a show you just put on for us there. You were all over the back of Christian.
Well, you know, I definitely not got it anymore, have I? I tried my very best, but yeah, he was quick.
It seems like you were covering more distance than necessary out there, reordering the course.
Well, I was nervous to go in front of him because I wasn't sure what he was going to do, so I felt more safe being behind.
How much fun is it out there? What are we all missing?
It looks like the race course has been designed on Minecraft. It's all squares. But it's good fun, and it's great to see so many people here, and a great initiative by Heineken.
Well, bad luck. You didn't manage to win.
I let the side down, but I've got a great bunch of teammates. I think we'll win through in the end.
Thank you.
Jackie Stewart has done many things in his time, but taking helmets off for ex-professional footballers must be a bit of a novelty for our 3-time Formula 1 world champion. DC has just said to Christian Carambeau, you're still a winner. Well, he was today. Let's hear from him.
Britain, David Coulthard.
Come on. So it's fun, of course, obviously. I try to respect all the options who gave me, Sir Jackie Stewart, but so far the pilots remain a big, I would say, that competitor. And yes, we try to do so for the best for who are drinking a lot and trying to recover from alcohol, and this is a good cause.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much, Christian Carambeau. Time for our third race, ladies and gentlemen. Esteban Ocon from Force India against the striking legend Louis Saha. Charlie Whiting. So, Esteban Ocon against Louis Saha. It is France against France. France on the track, France on the soccer field, and the 20-capped French striker taking it tentatively in these early stages already. Ocon with a bit of pace, but he goes wide into the left-hander at the bottom of the long straights. Saha with some great kart control, making his way around the bottom corner. And Saha on his way, nice straight line speed through the first and second corners. 4 laps to go. Ocon needs to find some pace. Man who started his Formula One career with 21 consecutive race finishes. Esteban Ocon is now just 4 short of the all-time record for a Formula One rookie. Louis Saha, man who scored the fastest ever goal in an FA Cup final, showing that he's got a bit of pace on our track as well. Ocon's trying to catch, but with 3 laps remaining, is he making enough of a dent in that half-lap advantage just yet? And unlike in our first 2 races, it has to be said, both of these drivers respecting track limits and not trying to rearrange the circuit too much. Ocon at times can see Saha, but with 2 laps remaining, here's the Frenchman, the French footballer, just that little bit too far ahead. Now Ocon is starting to make his move, I think. Saha, a little bit sluggish, going through the right-hand hairpin, clips the barriers as they get onto the main straight, and Ocon now has that lead down to about 5 or 6 meters. Ocon with a point to prove here. The man who scored points in every race bar 1 in 2017 is after 1 point here for our track stars, and he bustles and he barges his way through and takes the lead on the final lap. Has he timed it to perfection here? Saha maybe put off a little bit by that. Very scrappy through the right-hander. Come on, says Esteban, baiting his opponent here and trying to force him into some competition. It's still neck and neck as we approach now the final few corners. The checker flag is out. Esteban Ocon wins. And Louis Saha, close, but not quite close enough. But for long periods, it did look like the footballer had enough to keep our track star at bay. But close, but no banana, Jackie Stewart today. It was a cracking race.
Good race, just one little mistake up here on the right hand side, just that one mistake, I think he could have kept the lead.
You're so critical, aren't you? So critical of your drivers here, but that's why we employ you as the driver coach. You know what you're talking about. 3 world champions for Sir Jackie Stewart. Esteban Ocon out of the car, and Louis Saha, I think, wants a lap of honour. So let's give you the standings after our first 3 races, and victory for Daniel Ricciardo, giving our F1 stars a point advantage. Christian Carambeau, with the generosity of David Coulthard, levelled things up in our second race, and Esteban Ocon has just made it 2-1 to our F1 stars. Let's hear from him. He's with Rosanna.
Esteban Ocon, how does it feel to have beaten one of your footballing heroes?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's not his sport, but he was doing really well. I was quite impressed because I was pushing quite hard to get him, you know. And it took me like 4 laps, so big congrats to him. He's there, so I will congratulate him.
You left it quite late, as you say, and then you passed him and you were like, come on. You wanted to fight all the way to the line, didn't you?
Yeah, it was good fun, you know. I wanted to give him some tips. There he is.
Here he comes. Wow, that was a good race. We all enjoyed that very much. Did you?
Oh, yes, very much. I just felt his presence and I just lost it, you know.
He was egging you on at the end, though, like, come on, come on, come on. He wanted to fight all the way to the end.
I love that. I love that. That's the spirit. You know, French, we understand each other. You know.
I like that. You absolutely do. Well, thank you very much. Great race. And you're taking the win there, Esteban.
Yeah, not bad.
Handshakes all round for Louis Saha and Esteban Ocon, and it was that close, but this is where the experience of the F1 star really paid. Got up behind and alongside his man. The gap wasn't quite there. And he knows a thing or two about close racing, does Esteban Ocon. This time he muscled his way through and came out the victor by just a few car lengths. And we move on with our next race here on the grid. It is race 4, and for our football stars, it is a must-win race. So who better to stick in the kart this time around than Il Due himself? It is Michel Salgado. And alongside him, the man who has 7 podiums to his name in Formula One, record equaling Mexican driver in terms of podium positions, the one and only Sergio Perez. And Perez with just a few minor modifications to his go-kart before we get going. Jackie Stewart alongside me down here. Steve McManaman was a teammate at Real Madrid of Michel Salgado, and he said of him, he's the hardest person in the world. He's a tough man.
Tough man. I was chatting to him earlier, and he's a tough guy. No, he'll try hard, I'm sure. I don't know what's going on over here. It looks like we've got a little mechanical issue, but it's cleared up now, so I think we're going to see the start.
He's going to have to get his elbows out, isn't he, man?
I think he might have to. Look. Hey, go!
Jackie Stewart getting us underway with a go. And Salgado is on his way. So it's Sergio against Salgado. And for one of them, it's going to be the big O at the end of this race. Someone needs to tell Michel Salgado he can put his foot down just a little bit more. He's feathering the throttle with the application of a feather at the moment, and already Sergio Perez is making up quite a big distance. We've not even got to the end of lap 1 here, and our Real Madrid star is not that far in front. He's looking behind him. He could almost see Sergio Perez as he turned his neck around. 3 3/4 laps to go, and Perez now is right on Salgado's tail. He's bumping into him already. Now Michel Salgado, described as the hardest person in the world, knows he's got to get his elbows out, and he's going to have to get tough, but he's getting a battering from behind by Perez, who tries to sneak down the inside and finds the door slammed in his face. It's competition out on this circuit. Salgado ahead of Perez with 3 laps to go. And he gets another bang from behind. Salgado for his troubles. And Sergio Perez now into the lead. Down the main straight. And Sergio Perez has a decent advantage. As our crowd here at Monza tonight look on, and David Coulthard might like to look round because there's a kart coming. Almost caught him by surprise. Perez has slowed down. Salgado, with 2 laps to go, is actually catching him at the moment. 2 times Champions League winner gets into the lead. What a move from Michel Salgado, but Perez tries to get round the outside and finds his way blocked. Down to the end of the straight we go now. Salgado is pushed a little bit wide. Perez forces his way through. Surely, referee, we need to take a look at that one again. Final lap now of the race as Sergio Perez streaks off into the lead. But will our stewards want to know a thing or two about what's going on that track and how the Mexican has barged his way through? And oh, there's problems for Salgado. He's hit the wall again. Struggling at that bottom end of the course, and Sergio Perez is looking for his opponent, screaming, "Where are you?" And I tell you where Salgado is, Sergio, in big trouble. Sergio Perez takes the checkered flag, comes home as the victor here, and takes another point for our footballing, for our track stars. Michel Salgado, sadly this time around, a long way behind. So a point there for Sergio Perez. Let me take the unbiased, sitting on the fence thoughts of Sir Jackie Stewart here. Did you see anything there, Jackie, that you really didn't like from the track star?
Well, I thought my driver was being pushed around a little too much. I think that was probably unfair, but I'm sorry I can't make a comment on the other driver.
Louis Saha down here alongside me. Michel put up a good fight there, but it was a bit of rough tactics.
Yes, I think that a few yellow cards hasn't been blown, you know.
Yeah.
So
that's what we need in Formula One and karting. Yellow cards.
So yellow cards, red cards. But I think that it's very fun. You know, really, I loved it.
I'm glad you did. Right, race director Charlie Whiting is with Rosanna, and he's been having a look at the replays. Rosanna.
Well, that was a bit serious, so I've come to have a chat with Charlie Whiting. I think we need to have another look at that overtake.
I think so. It looked a little bit unfair, and I think he definitely should be asked to come and see the stewards for actually winning by a bit too much.
And give the point back.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's have a look at the replay now. What do you make of this, Charlie Whiting?
Blatant, yeah.
Have you seen this sort of thing recently in Formula One?
No, it's the first time.
Let's get Sergio Perez in here then. Well, a bit of dirty tactics going on there. We are going to take the point away, I'm afraid, Sergio. So it does go to the footballers.
Why?
So it's a good question, but you need to ask yourself that kind of thing, Sergio, out there on track.
I don't know what went wrong there.
Michel, how was that for you? That was dangerous out there.
That was difficult. This guy is so aggressive. That's what I like, you know, from this guy. And obviously, they wanted the revenge from the last year because we played football and it was too much for them. And now it was too much for us, to be honest. They are so good.
They embarrassed us last year, so...
Well, the point is back to you, so it all comes down to the last heat. Crofty.
News then from the stewards' room. As Rosanna mentioned, the point has been taken away. It is 2-1 to our F1 stars. It should be 3-1, but Charlie Whiting, the race director, has decided that on this occasion Sergio Perez shouldn't get that victory, and it is all then down to our final race. It's Max Verstappen against the Brazilian goalkeeping legend Dida, and Dida gets away well. Max Verstappen, who was one of the better footballers on the drivers' team in our five-a-side Champions of the Grid Part 1 match last year, might fancy his chances as well in this kart race. And already Dida has made quite a big alteration to our karting track. And Verstappen just finding, as he makes his way at the bottom end of the course, that there isn't much space there now. Now the marshals can repair the track, and down the straight he goes. Dida is coping well with this opening lap and has completed lap 1. 4 laps to go for Dida out in front. If the footballers win this race, they will tie, and it will be a draw in our Champions of the Grid. But if our track stars win, then they take home the prizes tonight. And already Verstappen very much then on Dida's tail, barging him out of the way once again as he slips through on the inside. Dida goes wide, and Verstappen, the youngest ever winner of a Formula One Grand Prix race, is showing the Brazilian goalkeeper, some 24 years his senior, the way to go here. Dida's in a bit of course alteration mood. Big thumbs up to make sure he's okay. And through the chicanes we go once again. Verstappen then leads. 3 laps remaining. Come on, says Jackie Stewart. Verstappen goes slightly wide. Dida can see him disappearing off into the distance, but has he got the pace to try and close that gap down? Verstappen's going to get a stiff neck in a minute, the amount of turning round he's doing. Oh, and problems at that far end. Verstappen has lost the lead. Dida slips through there, and on this greasy surface, Max Verstappen, the master in Brazil last year in the wet, coming a bit of a cropper. We're on the last lap. Charlie Whiting has the checker flag in his hand. Dida has the lead at the moment. Slams, I think unintentionally, the door shut on Verstappen. who's trying to find a way past. And then shoves our man out of the way, makes sure that he's okay, and then says, don't worry, I'm not going to give you the place back. I'm in the lead here. Is it going to be F1 Stars victory? Yes, it is. Max Verstappen takes the checkered flag. And our footballers, who were so supreme this time last year, have tasted defeats in our Champions of the Grid Part 2. It is our Formula One stars who come out victors here this evening. Max Verstappen completing a 3-1 victory in the Heineken Champions of the Grid Part 2. Which means only one of our professional drivers actually lost a race here this evening. Rosanna's with him now.
DC, what do you make of this afternoon's action and your own performance, quite frankly?
Well, you know, that's the reason I retired. I let the drivers down. I just don't have that consistency anymore. But, you know, unsurprisingly, the young racers are delivering. It's been quite close, though. Some of the football guys, thank God they could kick a ball because they can't drive.
Dangerous, dangerous. Let's have a look at some of the replays then. Talk us through what you see up there.
I see you up there.
I know. That's a frightening sight.
It's wonderful. Here's Max
Here we go,
looking
Max.
for space, and then he clearly missed his braking point and just taps him into a spin there. And thankfully for him, 2 corners to go, manages to pick up the checkered flag. And there's creating a new line, just sending the debris your way. I thought he was going to hit me. Well, it looked like he was, but anyway, you came through. Congratulations. Thank you. You still got it. You're not finishing Formula One races at the moment, but you are finishing this race, and you're a winner again.
Very happy.
How does it feel to win here on the start-finish straight in Monza, Max? Yeah. And to finish a race, fantastic.
First time here that I win, so that's good. Good.
Whose alarm's going off?
Whose alarm? That one. Yeah.
So the usual bedlam down here, as you would normally expect after a race. I'm here with Sergio Perez. We should just get a comment from Sergio. Congratulations first and foremost. The drivers, the Formula One stars took victory. About time we got some revenge back on the footballers from last year.
Yeah, we got them back. Was good. They embarrassed us very badly last year, so I think we did the same to them this year.
But they took your race victory away. Harsh.
It's very harsh. I think Charlie has been really harsh to me in the past couple of races.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't do that on Sunday, we'll be all right on that one. But it's great to come down here, do a bit of karting, have a bit of fun, and raise 25,000 euros for Italian road safety as well. The charity angle is very much in the forefront of our minds, and we've done a bit of good here tonight.
Definitely, it's the most important, you know. Charity will benefit from this one. I'm very happy to help that, and yeah, also Heineken is going to help my Mexican foundation, so really happy for that.
Fantastic. Sergio, thanks ever so much for joining us. Almost time for our podium celebrations, but Rosanna, first of all, down to you.
Come era l'esperienza questa sera?
Veramente è stata un'esperienza piacevole, perché è la prima volta nella mia vita che guido una macchina così, che di solito mai ho guidato un kart, quindi è stata un'esperienza buona, perché qua un circuito della Formula 1 c'è anche l'emozione di avere i tifosi vicino da noi, né? Ha veramente una sensazione di stare in una vera corsa.
Grazie mille, grazie.
Prego, prego.
So a fantastic evening of karting here on the grid at Monza ahead of the Heineken Italian Grand Prix on Sunday. And let's have a look at our classification, the results from the champions of the grid. Daniel Ricciardo beating Francesco Toldo in the opening race before Christian Carambo leveled it up for the footballers with an unexpected shock victory. Esteban Ocon then beating Luis Saha before Sergio Perez was disqualified from the race. Michel Salgado was rather punted out of the way. And Max Verstappen surviving all the pressure at the end to beat Dida 1-0 and take a 3-1 victory for our F1 stars. So we have a podium celebration being organised. Our drivers a chance to have a little debrief after the race and work out how it went for them. So let's get our footballers together first and pay a round of applause, please, for our Champions League legends who have taken part this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation to Christian Carambeau and to Francesco Toldo and to Dida, to Luis Saha, and also Michel Salgado as well, who was rather horribly punted out of the way by Sergio Perez. And to our winning team from the world of Formula One, put your hands together for Max Verstappen, to Sergio Perez, to Daniel Ricciardo, to David Coulthard, and somewhere Esteban Ocon as well. Your champions of the grid, ladies and gentlemen. And if Sir Jackie Stewart is around, we should have our driver coach on the grid as well. Congratulations to our F1 stars. Thank you very much for coming along this evening and showing our footballers just how it's done. €25,000 raised for charity here this evening. An awful lot of fun had on the grid as well. Well done to our F1 stars. Commiserations to our footballers, and who knows what we'll be doing here this time next year. From us all at the Heineken Champions of the Grid, a very good evening.